This is the Scary Movie Clubcast.
Live from the clubhouse, it's Scary Movie Clubcast. This is Nadine.
This is Amanda.
This is Mackenzie.
This is Megan.
And tonight we watched Bird Box. And I personally really like this movie. I would give it like 4.8 child leashes.
I would do 4 child leashes.
I liked it a lot. I think I would go with more like with Nadine, like 4.78 child leashes.
Weird number.
That is a very precise number, but whatever works
Be as
for you.
precise as you want to be.
Thank you,
I tried to.
Nadine.
I would say 4.5 child leashes.
Tonight we have another What's Your Sign? Murder Edition. Yep. Back at it again.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, probably should tell you guys, we are vaguely considering phasing these out. We don't know if people like them or are interested, or if it's just a weird combination of interests that only we have and that everyone else is like, just stop. And so if you like it, voice your opinion, because otherwise this probably may not happen in season 4. So Amanda and I have each selected a murderer, and we're gonna tell you all about their birth chart and try to guess who it is. Amanda?
So this person is a Sagittarius sun.
Of course they are.
Yep, because they're crazy.
Mm.
So I would say
It's Ted Bundy.
we already did him.
That's the joke.
So something that's not a super strong characteristic that he holds is he is not optimistic or particularly social.
He's a depressed boy.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Especially growing up, I think he kind of turned that around a little bit after he got locked up, but
We have lots of friends in jail.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
He's like, these are my people.
I found my
but really,
tribe.
though, he's only honest in the fact that he offhandedly admits to his crimes at one point in prison and doesn't really possess a burning desire for people to know the truth like most Sagittarians do. But he is most definitely impulsive, which is most evident in his crimes, and he is very easily provoked, with the ability to act as if everything is fine after the moment has passed, which is classic Sag. As for the Sag's typical chatty nature, he would shut down and become really reserved when life became difficult, but from interviews it does seem like he doesn't mind being open when he felt comfortable. Another very Sag thing is that he hates being restricted. They only do things that they want to do, and you can't make, they have to want to do it to do it.
Can lead a Sag to water.
But again, he did enjoy prison. It was a good place for him. And so he doesn't really possess any of the good traits Sagittarius has. Very selfish and self-pitying. For his moon sign, he's a Cancer moon. And I would say the most Cancer thing about him is that he always went to his family when he was in need. He had a really tight-knit family from what I see, which seems kind of crazy because he was such a mess. The only thing that was really messed up about his family is he had a really bad stepdad who was the opposite of his actual father, who was super nice, super pious. He really looked up to him, but his father died when he was young. But he for sure does not possess any of the motherly characteristics of a Cancer. Really, none of the good Cancer qualities at all.
There's
Noticing a trend.
Yeah,
No,
There are
does
so
not have many good qualities.
there are so many good Cancer qualities too. We know this.
Because we see embodied in our Mackenzie.
That's right.
But he did have some of the bad ones, like emotional fluctuations, and was prone to depression, which led to heavy drinking, which in turn led to bursts of violence when offended. And his rising sign is Virgo. His Virgo really came out when he was behind bars because he kept his cell really neat, but also definitely used some of the knowledge and skills that he had to make his prison life and community a better place for him and I guess his fellow inmates. He put a lot of time and work into his body, but not in the way you would think.
I don't know, what way do you think I'm thinking?
Is this the guy, is it time to guess?
Yep, time to guess.
Is this the guy who killed those people on that boat and then became transgender in jail?
He didn't kill anyone on a boat, but he did almost become transgendered in jail. Yeah, it was 1966 to be exact.
Just one
Just
year?
1 year?
Mm-hmm.
So how many people did he
For the most
kill?
part. 8, maybe 9.
Oh my gosh.
Rampage. We're gonna know who it is, or probably not. You'd
Um,
think we'd already know if we were gonna know.
Yeah,
She
fair.
likes to go
mean-
obscure on us.
you might know he was featured in a television show.
Which television show? Might as well be more
Mindhunter.
specific. Okay.
Mindhunter.
Where did he do the crimes?
Chicago,
Was a merchant, a marine merchant in Chicago?
on the Great Lakes.
Oh.
Just odd.
I'm not buying it.
I know, this whole thing sounds made up. Stinks, I tell you. You've watched Mindhunter?
I have.
Have you watched it, Mackenzie?
I have, but I can't remember the main guy that they interview. I forgot his
He's
name.
not a main guy.
Oh, he's not a main guy.
The main guy they interview the most, I think, is probably Ed Kemper.
Yeah.
It's definitely Ed Kemper.
It ain't him.
No, it's not him. Emma was not
I have
the
not seen Mindhunter in a long
right
time.
in jail.
I'm out. I don't know.
Come on, Megan. You're our only hope.
That is a sad statement.
You ready to give up?
Yeah.
It was Richard Speck.
Never heard of him. Is he in Mindhunter the book?
Oh!
Oh, so were you assuming that I'd already read it?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Oh,
I see. He's the one who
Haven't.
went.
tell you right
He
now, I
went
didn't like that book.
in and he killed. It was a one night. He
Good.
killed them all except for one who
Mhm.
managed to hide. Wouldn't have gotten there by myself though.
He was the seventh of 8 children.
Oh damn.
Yep.
Are they Catholic?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Whenever I hear that a family has a million children, I'm like, what religion are you?
Yeah, literally.
I gots to know.
What religion are you?
Mother married a really abusive alcoholic man. After her first husband, Richard's father, died, and they moved to Texas from Chicago. Previous to this, his mother had like really strict religious views, and the fact that she married this horrible man made it really easy for Richard to turn away from those. He was arrested for the first time at 13.
Yikes.
He'd committed a slew of petty crimes before jumping into rape and murder. He decided to return to his hometown of Mammoth, Illinois, to get a fresh start, but shortly after he found out that his now ex-wife got married 2 days after their divorce was finalized to someone else, and then he decided to just go into a tailspin and drink heavily, which led to violence. He raped and robbed a 65-year-old named Virgil Harris.
Is that a man?
Nope, it's a woman. It is believed that he also raped and murdered a 32-year-old by punching her so hard in the abdomen that her liver burst. But he skipped
Whoa.
town before was charged as a suspect. So he runs away to Chicago, calling on his family for help. So he moves in with a sister for another fresh start. And on July 13th, 1966, he broke into a townhouse and murdered 8 nurses. He followed one of the girls home, comes in, and then girls just keep coming home. So he loses track of her, and with the work of a sketch artist, they get his picture out, and they have details about him. He has a tattoo that says "Born to Raise Hell." And
So did he
Yeah.
never see her, and that's why he didn't go looking for her?
No,
or he
She
just
was
couldn't
tied
find her?
up.
no, yeah, she was
Yeah, she
tied
had
up.
been
She
tied up.
rolled under the bed.
Yeah, she.
Because he had to leave the room because, like I said, more girls kept coming in. 2 of them come in there that they see what he's doing, and they're like, "Oh no!" They run and hide into a bathroom. He convinces them to come out because he's like, "If you don't come out, I'm going to kill these other girls." So he gets them to come out, ties them up, winds up raping one of the women as well.
Was she
Um,
injured under the bed?
No,
Well, why didn't he come back for her?
he forgot she was there.
He forgot?
He lost track of her. He was drunk.
He
Yeah,
already
murder
killed 8
pretty
women.
stupid.
I don't think he was keeping track of the number
Yeah.
of girls who were coming in. He just assumed that they would all kind of stay put.
So they have all this information out about him. I guess he probably sobers up, slides into a depression, and then tries to kill himself. But he's discovered, and they bring him to the hospital. They treat his wounds. One of the doctors notices his tattoo, calls the cops, and that's how he gets caught. Fun little story is that Richard Speck found an injured bird that had flown through one of the broken windows and nursed it back to health. When it was healthy enough to stand, he tied a string around its leg and had it perched on his shoulder. At one point, a guard told him pets weren't allowed. He said, "I can't have it," then walked over to a spinning fan and threw the small bird into it. Yeah. Horrified, the guard said, "I thought you liked the bird," and Speck just says, "I did, but if I can't have it, no one can." In May of 1996, a television anchor, Bill Curtis, received a videotape made in the Statesville Correctional Center in 1988 and was shown publicly in the state legislature, and it had explicit scenes of sex, drug use, and money being passed around the prison. And at the center was Speck, sporting female-like breasts, allegedly grown using smuggled hormone treatment, and boasting, "If they only knew how much fun I was having, they'd turn me loose."
That's when he said that line that he says in Mindhunter too about it not being those girls' night.
Oh, yeah.
Because they pulled it directly from that videotape
Mm-hmm.
of him being in that,
Yeah.
and him asking, "Oh, why did you kill all those women?" No, it just wasn't their night.
Yeah, that's the only time.
That's because that's what he
admits.
says on that videotape.
All right, well, thank you, Amanda. That was a great one. My person is a Gemini sun sign. So Geminis can be known to be flirty. Not so much with
Okay.
my person. They can be known to be like a chameleon, which for this person, I'd say like to some degree. They go really hard, but they can be changeable.
Mm.
They tend to have a lot of curiosity, and so they usually end up with lots of knowledge. This person did not like hardcore fit most of their signs. They can be known to be witty, and they're usually like the social icebreaker. I wouldn't personally say that either of those are particularly true of this person. They're mercurial, and it's because it's the planet Mercury, and that's what that's based around.
Nice.
I know, the more you know. They tend to be kind of detached from emotions. I think that that's like fairly true of this person, although I would say that they're like very in tune with their own emotions and then more so like detached from other people's. They'll try anything once usually. Yes, 1,000,000%. They can be duplicitous and cruel gossips. I think that's fairly true of this person. They can be known to overshare. It's fairly true. They're charming. I don't know if I would say that for this person or not. They can be kind of flaky and nervous and like restless, like half and half, I would say. And they're chatty, which I would definitely say that this person's chatty. So their moon is Aquarius. Logical, so head more than heart, usually, which I wouldn't say is like especially true of this person. Your emotions are well balanced. Definitely not true of this person.
Really isn't anything like his sign.
And not especially. Excited by new ideas and they kind of move on quickly. I think that's accurate. They hate rules being put on them and they love a challenge. Yeah, to some degree. They really need like open communication, which sure, I think. Intellect is a turn on for them, and they're a fixed moon, so their opinions are pretty set. Not really, because I mean, this person's a Gemini sun, so they run every which way all the time. They need friends, but they feel like outsiders and have trouble connecting with those around them. That's 1,000,000% true for this person. So they like the idea of being socially connected without actually being there. And because in this case it's an air sun with Aquarius moon, they can be really persuasive and great with words, which I guess to some degree. And then it's like freedom above all else for them, but I'm not so sure that that's very accurate for this person. The rising sign is Scorpio.
I love them.
Oh no.
A rising Scorpio usually looks like someone that like you wouldn't want to push around. The exact opposite is true for this person.
Oh no.
They command respect.
Not at all.
They seem determined. They're the type of people that you either love or hate. I could see maybe that being true about this person. They're usually like either intimidating or intriguing to you, one or the other. They're a master of strategy and pretty patient. No. Not so much. So this person is not particularly like their sign. So they are like their Gemini in the sense that they go really, really hard for something, but then they can be known to really like change and go in like the exact opposite direction and go just as hard. In a general sense, they're really more of a follower, I would say, personally.
Time period.
This was in the 70s.
Okay. So you said that he's not charming, but he is chatty.
Yeah, and I mean, some people might find him charming.
But that's not like, it's not like how Ted Bundy, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
charming. It's
definitely not like charming to the masses.
okay.
I would say.
What part of the United States?
Northeastern?
Is this David Berkowitz?
It is.
Wow.
Son of Sam.
Son of Sam.
I was like, a lot of people who died. He's not charming. Survivors, Northeast.
So many survivors. More survivors than deaths, I'd say. He pled guilty to all of the crimes. And, like, at the time, he said that he was being influenced by a demon that was possessing his neighbor's dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, like, 16 years later came out and was like, actually, I was part of a satanic cult, and I was not the only person who committed these murders. I committed some of them, but, like, I was there for all of them, but I was not the trigger person for all of them. Which I personally think that the reason that he probably made up the whole dog thing is because they released a psychological profile after they got the first letter, and it's described the person that was probably doing this as neurotic and probably suffering from paranoid schizophrenia and believed himself to be a victim of demonic possession. And so he was like, okay.
I'm gonna run with that.
Yeah.
He's like, that sounds like someone who doesn't go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once he was in jail, he, for like 10 years, continued with his satanic rituals and like would do spells and stuff in his jail cell. And he eventually had an inmate who gave him a Bible, and he eventually was converted to Christianity.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe on the conspiracy about the cult.
You're not sure if you do?
Yeah.
You think he was a lone gunman?
Yes.
Oh, I 100% believe the cult stuff, personally, because he, like, in the letter it talks about all this Son of Sam stuff. There were 2 separate letters. It's clear that, like, one of them honestly seems like it's written by, like, multiple people in the one letter, like, the styles of the way that things are said, and the other letter seems like it's written by a much more intelligent person on their own, because it's, like, consistent throughout. And with the Son of Sam stuff, the dog's name was not Sam. The person who owned the dog's name was Sam, and he had 2 sons who were also part of this cult. They were all in the cult. And
Dang, this cult, like, wiped out their whole neighborhood.
well, this cult was like all over, really. And also when you look at the like police sketches, which I know they're not super reliable, but like the police sketches for this in particular are so different for like the different shootings and what people saw. And also there are witnesses who were at the crime scene. One witness in particular who said that it could not possibly have been Berkowitz, only because, like, the one that actually got him caught, where it was the Stacy Moskowitz shooting, where he got the parking ticket, and that's eventually what got him caught. Well, this woman walked by him on the street and, like, almost bumped into him, and, like, where they were, there's no possible way that he could have gotten to where the shots happened in that time frame. And then also, like, some of the victims who had seen him, who had, like, seen the attacker, which most of the victims didn't. Most of it was like came from behind. They were like, the car's exploding.
They're like, all of a sudden my knee blew up.
Yeah. But the ones who did, like, described other people, like shaggy blonde hair and things like that, that just are not Berkowitz at all.
But wasn't the weapon he used, like, super unreliable? Why would a cult choose to use this?
A 44 caliber handgun? I didn't read anything about it being super unreliable.
Just that it wasn't, like, effective. Not that it was, like,
I think
not that it
they
would jam
weren't
or stuff,
effective.
but, like,
Yeah, I mean...
There was one
was a
where
lot of
they
missed
shot
shots.
these 2 poor girls on their stoop, and like the guy walked up. Okay, so that's like the one where the girls got like really good view of the person because they had literally asked them for directions, and they were like, it was not David Berkowitz. But he walked up and asked them for directions, and then shot 4 times and hit both of them, and neither one of them died. And I was like, you're a terrible shot because you're literally at point blank range.
Some Star Wars shooting, some stormtrooper.
A real hot mess. So I don't think it was the weapon, I think it was them. They probably should have done some shooting practice or something. They were not a talented group. But mostly I just don't think that he has any reason to lie also, because he's not appealing or trying to get out of jail. He passes on all his parole hearings. Like, he's not interested in leaving jail at all. He thinks that it's the right place for him to be. He knows that whether or not he pulled the gun, the trigger at all of these, that he was completely and 1,000,000% involved, and that he deserves to be punished. Just like a random fun fact, in one of the letters it said the phrase like Wicker King or something like that, and so the police did a private screening of Wicker Man. So cute. This case was the reason that New York enacted the Son of Sam laws, which make it so that a criminal cannot profit from the publicity of their crimes, which were adopted in many other states as well. Oh my gosh, there was this one, like, preacher type guy who sent him a letter after he had been arrested and stuff, and it said something along the lines of like, God still loves you and Jesus can save you, and he wrote back and said, when I get out of here, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that seems strong.
It is. It is strong. I had so many questions after researching all of this that I really wanted to ask him, and I was like, I could send him a letter.
He
And
might
then I was-
reply.
I know, but then I was like, I would need a P.O. box. 'cause
Yeah.
What am I doing? Giving out my address
To a
murderer.
cult member who's
I
a
know.
murderer.
But I have so many questions because I don't know if you guys notice this, but whenever I'm researching stuff about true crime or most things in general, I'm like, man, people have differing information. I'm like, someone's got to be wrong. Who's wrong? Who has the wrong information? Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for David Berkowitz. He was wild. Well, is. He's still alive. Alright, so yeah, so that's our What's Your Sign Murder Edition for today. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Scary Movie Clubcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next movie night, and don't forget, there are 160 days till Halloween. Goodbye!
Bye.
What the?
The ghosts are getting her computer.
Making it go to sleep. Gloria Davy, Patricia. Oh gosh.
Are you gonna read all 8 names?
Yeah. Maduski, Nina Jo Shumale, Pamela Wilkenings, and Merletta Gargulo, and Valentina Passion. And then there was a 9th nurse in the house. She was Filipina. Her name was Cortisone.
Is her ethnicity relevant to the story?
They mentioned it because she was like an exchange student.
It's like, you've been sitting for hours! You don't bother, because I'm gonna cut it. I can tell you that all these names are gonna be cut.
Rude.
Well, you can't say any of them! Hang on, don't shut it off. Yeah, I gotta make sure the 160 is right. Because it might not be. No, it is.
Nailed it.